1989, about this time of the year, probably summer. It was at night. It had been raining all day, so it was pretty foggy, but a buddy of mine and I were cruising on the back roads somewhere in Overton County. And about 150 feet off on this road, in the distance, we see this guy standing on the side of the road, right? And white shirt, white pants, is what we thought. And we got closer, probably within 175 feet, 100 feet. I don't know exactly how far we were, but all of a sudden this guy I guess just like bolts across the road and up this like really steep hill, something like this, a 15 feet high hill or something. And he does it like within 2 steps, he was just gone like that, okay. And me and my buddy are like, you know, like, what the fuck was that? You know, and so we pull up to where this guy had crossed the road or whatever. We look up into the woods, and I look at my buddy, and he looks at me, and he's just like, and so we keep driving, okay. And we didn't really talk to each other for a couple minutes after that. You know, I thought I'd seen a ghost or something, but I remember seeing the torso and like these arms and legs, and the arms were like swinging, you know, doing this really exaggerated kind of motion sort of thing, which was really, you know, kind of just a really bizarre, almost kind of unnatural kind of actions, the way the thing was moving and everything. And so I didn't really think much about it more. I thought, I don't know, maybe it was a ghost or a specter or something, you know, I don't know, I just kind of put it out of my head. And this was, like I said, like 15 years ago. Well, about 2 years ago, 2003, I kind of surfing the web, came across this Tennessee Bigfoot lady's website. She was doing research in Overton County, Tennessee, and I was like, okay. And she actually had all these sighting reports on there, just a list of all these sightings, supposed sightings of Bigfoot in this area. And got to reading more and more about it and found out that there were these like white Bigfoots seen in the area. And then all of a sudden, oh, okay, that's probably what I saw, if there is such a thing, right? So emailed her my sighting, quote unquote sighting, I sent it to her, and she got back in touch with me, called me up. She was really excited. She put me on her website as, you know, as a sighting of Bigfoot. I showed her, mimicked the way that the thing had moved, and she immediately knew, yeah, that was a Bigfoot, that's what you saw. And so, okay, so I saw Bigfoot, all right. So she had a research team, right? She goes, you gotta come out with us some night, and we'll do some tree knocks, do these vocalization things that they call to them. And so I went out with them, and I can remember when they started knocking on a tree with this like axe handle, then it kind of hit me, okay, this is not a hoax, these folks are real. They started teaching me about the tree knocks and like I said, the vocalizations and everything. And we went out November of 2003, just inside Putnam County, just a few miles outside of Monterey. And this was about dusk, and this was in November, around 6:30 p.m. or something. They had the bionic ear things that they wear, you know, to listen for things. Again, they were doing the tree knocks and the vocalizations and everything. And started hearing like leaves, like a squirrel jumping the leaves or something. Wayne and Sherry, the two people I was with, they were looking in one direction. All three of us were. I thought, well, it might be a good idea if I like turn around and maybe look at what's behind us, you know, kind of keep an eye on our backs. And a couple minutes later or so, across the top of this ridge, just over this hill, I saw this head and this shoulder just rise up above this ridge and walk from behind one tree, slowly kicking leaves as it walked, and disappeared in behind another tree. We were like, okay, guys, he's right over there. You know, he's right behind this cedar tree or whatever. And Wayne's listening with the bionic ears and everything. And he listens for a minute, and he goes, guys, we better head back to the vehicle. We're about 1,000 feet away from our vehicle in the middle of this old logging road, right? So yeah, we swiftly kind of go back to the vehicle, and I start shaking, you know, I just uncontrollable. I couldn't make myself stop. It was intense. It was scary for me, just seeing this man in the woods that shouldn't be there or whatever, you know. Could have been a hoax, but nobody knew we were going there. And this, again, an old abandoned log road in the middle of nowhere. And it's always, I think, really, really upsetting to have your sense of reality just shaken, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, what you thought was real, like this is what is, and now all of a sudden realizing, no, that's not what you thought, to get with reality, something totally different from what I thought. Over time, I guess I've kind of come to, you know, accept that, you know, that there are things out there that I don't know about, that maybe the orthodox scientific community doesn't know about. I'm not one to really like just buy anything. I don't believe in, you know, just, you know, I don't know anything about UFOs. I don't know about Loch Ness Monster or anything like that, but I know that there are these human things in the woods that I never knew about before that are real. They're here in Tennessee where I live, and apparently always have, and I never knew about them until just like 2 years ago. And yeah, I found these little pyramidal structure marker teepee things that they supposedly build. If you study them, you see that there's really no way, in my opinion, it could be a natural formation. It's obviously, taking some ingenuity to actually twist these trees around into like a woven type pattern the way that they are. When you see something like that, then yeah, obviously that's probably a good place to start looking around for footprints. So, and I have found footprints too, by the way. That's when I really knew that they were for real, when I first found my first footprint. By the way, I wear a size 12 shoe, and it was 6 inches longer than my shoe, which I'm guesstimating probably 18 inches long, and it was about 8 inches across the ball of the foot, about 5 inches across the heel of the foot. Again, this is in a really remote area where, I mean, who would go out there and hoax it, because nobody would never normally even go into those areas. I'm not really giving away the actual areas that I've seen them. I'm just going to say somewhere in Overton County, because, yeah, these things, I mean, whatever they are, they need to be protected, because they're areas, I mean, the way that that humans are really branching out into more and more, wooded areas with like, suburbia, that kind of a thing. I think their natural habitat, their areas, I think, are becoming more and more scarce. And in a way, I think the public should be made aware of it so that maybe they can be somehow protected. And again, I mean, I don't know if most people even believe that these things are real. So I think you're going to see a lot more contact with them because of people moving into more and more remote areas, living in those places. I'm all about protecting these things. I'm very much a no-kill researcher. I would never ever carry a gun, going and looking for one or anything. I would never wish any harm on them whatsoever. First and foremost, probably have good intentions. You're not there to cause any harm, again, like I said, but also I would think a healthy dose of respect for them would probably be a healthy attitude anyway. So first, I guess, you just having the right attitude first. A lot of people speak of telepathic abilities and those things of the Bigfoot. I don't know, but I kind of get little hints from them that somehow they sort of know what my intentions are. Having your heart in the right place would probably be my best advice. And a healthy dose of caution. Be smart about it. I myself, I've been out with Mary Green's research team. In fact, the very first time I went with them, about 500 feet off, down in this hollow, I literally heard tree limbs being broken out of trees. And I kind of ruled out deer on that one, personally. I'm thinking something with opposable thumbs that can wrap its hands around a tree limb and break it out. So that would definitely be a giveaway too, I would think. But other than that, they do certain vocalizations too, which I haven't heard a whole lot of, but almost sometimes a scream, maybe sometimes a really loud whistle or a shrill that shuts down all the noise in the woods. That's definitely a giveaway too. And sometimes even almost gorilla-like kind of, kind of grunts. That's all I can tell you. You'd really have to talk to Mary or somebody that really knows to, get more information about that. Can't blame anybody for not believing it. This is just so far-fetched, just so outside the realm of what we consider reality. I've never seen a UFO, so, I'm not going to say that there aren't any UFOs, because I personally can't prove a negative. I can only try to prove a positive, that something is. I can never prove that it isn't. Mary tells me that the Bigfoot research, that field is really kind of fraught with hoaxers. There's a lot of them out there, and that really kind of sets back, genuine research in that area, because people are out there, faking footprints and that sort of thing. I don't care if people believe in the Bigfoot or not. Like I've said before, I don't have the luxury of believing or not believing anymore. That option is not available to me anymore. I've been really, really afraid in the woods before. I've gotten like 500 feet away from my vehicle, and I would hear footprints circle around, I would hear footsteps rather, circle around me and get in between me and my vehicle. And I'd just be like, please let me get out of this alive, and I swear I'll never come back here doing it again. And then a week later, I'm back doing it again. It's something that it really kind of gets a hold of you, and you get fascinated with, especially the more I learn about it, the more and more curious I get. As far as I know, they're the exact same species, or they could be two different species that are similar. From what I gather, they're some sort of distant phylogenetic evolutionary cousin of ourselves. They're part of the Homo line. And that's probably what's so hard to buy about this. I mean, most people probably believe that, that there were, of course, ancient, primitive cave-dwelling humanoid type species long ago. But the fact that one of them actually survived into the modern day along with us and is still roaming the woods, I think that's probably the hardest part to swallow, but that's the only sense that I can make out of these things. I'll go back out squatching again soon, sure.